First, I would like to welcome you all to the UAE country seminar, in which we will talk about the UAE, the business, the new regulations, very briefly. But to start off first, I would like to ask His Excellency, the Ambassador of the UAE to India, Dr. Ahmed Abdulrahman Al-Banna, one question, and that is, Your Excellency, why do Indians feel comfortable with UAE?
Thank you very much. I would like to thank all of you for being present at this UAE session. Now, historically, if we go back to thousands of years back, there was the bilateral relationship between the United Arab Emirates and India. As a matter of fact, since GOA has that Portuguese touch, I should mention this. I should mention that when the famous Portuguese discoverer, Vasco da Gama, left Portugal trying to explore different parts of the world, he ended up in a place in the United Arab Emirates. At that time, there was no UAE. It was the Trucial States, or one of the states used to be called Julfar, which is now Ras Al Khaimah. Now, in Julfar, Vasco da Gama ended up landing there thinking that he is in India, to find out that no, he's not yet. Therefore, he used one of the Arab sailors from Julfar, from Ras Al Khaimah, Ahmed ibn Majid, his name is, and that sailor, he had a lot of Indian sailors working for him and with him. So therefore, he assisted Vasco da Gama to come and reach to the Indian subcontinent. Now, having said that, the UAE, as I said, has a lot of relationship, lot of good relationship, mass relationship, people to people. Before even we started our diplomatic relationship, the people-to-people relationship was always there through history, through ages. Now we have more than 3 million Indians living in the United Arab Emirates. We have 1,068 flights a week. We have a capacity of over 168,000 seats per week. The geographical proximity, of course, is a major reason. But then, as I said, the people-to-people base. The very beginning Indians who came to the United Arab Emirates, at that time, as I said, there was no UAE, the Trucial States. The Gujaratis, who were very well known for their gold and jewelry. The Punjabis for their professions in different means and ways. For the rest of the Indians, especially if we look at the total population of the Indians now, the Keralatis consist the majority of the Indians living in the United Arab Emirates. The relationship is very important. We have a total bilateral trade of about $60 billion. Out of that is $38 billion non-oil. We are the third largest partner to India. That is after the United States and China. Now, that by itself tells you the importance of UAE to India. When we talk about China, when we talk about USA, and then we talk about UAE as a third trading partner. India is our first or second trading partner. It depends on so many different factors. Between China and India, they're number one trading partner. So these are the reasons and the facts. Plus, the UAE is very harmonious in terms of people living there. We have more than 200 nationalities living in the United Arab Emirates. We have, let's say, safety. Let's say, ease of doing business. Let's say, ease of getting education of all types. We have lots and hundreds of Indian schools of different levels in the United Arab Emirates. Colleges, Indian colleges in the United Arab Emirates. The ease of doing things, not business only, the ease of living there, the ease of practicing your own beliefs and religion, the ease of doing things overall. The UAE was one of the very first countries who established or who set up a ministry called Ministry of Tolerance. I'd like to add to that, Ministry of Tolerance and Acceptance. We accept all different foreign communities to live in the United Arab Emirates safely. So therefore, these are the factors, these are the main elements that Indians see in the United Arab Emirates and encourages them to come and live and work there. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Thank you for that information. It's condensed and it's as brief as it could be. So, to move on, the UAE has been known as a business center and a business hub for the region, from east to west, west to east. So, in the latest World Economic Forum report and competitiveness, the competitive index, the UAE has been ranked at the 25th place and as the first place for an Arab nation on that index. So, this question is directed to His Excellency Jum'a Al-Kate, Assistant Under Secretary, Foreign Trade at the Ministry of Economy. Why did we need in the UAE to bring out a new FDI law to make things, I do believe, easier for people to come, even though we're very competitive and the most competitive in our region? Please, Your Excellency.
Thank you very much, Ahmed. And I'm really glad to be here today, and it gives me great opportunity to talk about maybe some points on how to do business in the UAE, why we are doing facilitating further. And the point that I would like to start with is that everybody knows that FDI is an instrument to attract capital for any country. The idea behind also having an FDI law in the UAE is not only to attract capital. The idea behind this is it goes beyond attracting capital. So there is a study on, from UNCTAD shows that there is more than 110 FDI laws in many different countries. Most of those laws considering promoting investment as an objective in their laws, but very few of them considering facilitating investment as an objective. So a lot of countries promoting for attracting capital, but when investors come and try to invest, he found it very hard to make his investment successful. So facilitating investment is a crucial element in any law. So we considered this when we issue the FDI law. Another element is the sustainable development. So a lot of people, they just want to put some money and take the profit and go back. But we are not looking for this kind of investment. It's similar to our investment abroad. It has a lot of different dimensions. So the sustainable development element is a core point in the UAE FDI law. Having said that, I would also like to mention that in any FDI law, there is a right and obligation for the investor. If the right and obligation is not clear, or there is imbalance between the right and obligation, country will not be able to attract investment. There is different levels of looking at the business or investment environment. If I'm looking to just get certain amount of money, and then nobody will come because there is kind of bureaucracy, corruption, it's not clear where I can get this license. So there should be the procedure side of it and the legislative side of it. Both of them go in one line, in parallel. They should go together. One side cannot be done and achieved without the other. This has been considered in the UAE FDI law. So, looking at the business environment, now we are ranked 11 globally in ease of doing business. We are the first country in the Arab region and MENA region attracting investment. 34% of the investment in our region goes to the UAE. Because of the system and the full cycle of the, I will call it the ecosystem for the investment regime in the UAE. With the investment law, we have issued also the bankruptcy law. And we amended the companies laws. And we have issued the arbitration law. All of those laws are very important to the investor. He needs to know his rights. He needs to know how to go for dispute. He needs to know his rights. All of these things are very important. With the investment law, now, investor from any country can come to the UAE easily. There is a list stating the sectors and activities that the investor can invest in 100% without any local partner. Those sectors and activities have been selected in line with the government vision. So we want to build a knowledge-based and competitive economy. We want to have the element of the artificial intelligence, machine learning, blockchain. All of those technologies are very welcome to invest in the UAE. The incentives are clear, very transparent law, and I think with the relation that we have with India, as mentioned by His Excellency the Ambassador, India can be the most beneficial country from the FDI law in the UAE. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Thank you very much. Before, there were some points which I was confused upon, but you made it clear to me as well. Now, we jump to Jalfar or Ras Al Khaimah, which, as the ambassador said, our famous sailor in the region came from and connected the world to India. From Ras Al Khaimah, we've got the member of Ras Al Khaimah Chamber of Commerce and Industries, His Excellency Dr. Rashid Al Naimi. Your Excellency, as a businessman, as part of the chambers, what do you see are the common activities or interests that people in the UAE, and specifically in Ras Al Khaimah, and GOA, and generally India, can benefit from and go into partnerships and work together from?
First of all, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Uh, as His Excellency Ambassador said, and Under Secretary, they said mainly 90% of the issue about the relationship between UAE and India. But already we got a result of what they have said since 7 years, alhamdulillah. Most of big, huge companies in India already entered in UAE. For example, I will make it very short. A lot of cement companies entered to Ras Al Khaimah and bought a big cement company in UAE. There is a big Indian fund, without naming them, I forget the name. They bought 90% or 93% of the biggest Middle East ceramic manufacturer in UAE, which is Rock Ceramic. There is a more than 20,000 JV and agreement or semi-agreement between UAE and in the field of industry and the memorandum of understanding. There is Ashok Leyland also. They opened maybe 10 years ago in Ras Al Khaimah their factories to send their products all around the Middle East. Also, we don't want to forget that in Rakis, which is in Ras Al Khaimah free zone, we have 14,500 companies, 22% of it only from India, and they opened in India, which means that already whatever His Excellency said, the trust came already because of these laws which is applied and which is modified, which is to improve our system and to improve the investment. Nevertheless, there is DCM, Shriram, MSN Lab, LT Foods, all of them also entered in our market. In summary, there are people and your colleagues already entered to UAE, more than 22% in our Rakis Indian companies. You can check them, you can ask them. They are successful since 15 years. 50% of them from 15 years, they are successful in Ras Al Khaimah. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Thank you very much for that brief note on Ras Al Khaimah. And now we go to a city in which the UAE, we call it the bride in the east, or Arus al-Sharq, الساحل الشرقي, which is the east coast, Fujairah. His Excellency Sharif Al-Awadi, CEO of Fujairah Free Zone. He's got many interactions with the Indians before, and he knows what the Indian businessman is looking for as well. So, Your Excellency, what does the Indian businessman look for, and what does Fujairah offer to him? Briefly, please.
Thank you. We should find the groom for the bride. I think, Mr. Ambassador, you should do that. Namaskar, everybody. So, I think I would, if you don't mind, Your Excellency, thank you very much, and both elaborating what His Excellency the Ambassador have said and the Undersecretary, Mr. Al-Kate, and talking about the FDI laws and talking about, I think Indians, they believe in the bond of trust. They basically a shake of hand. That's most important. I mean, in West, they don't care who is the prophet. They want to see what is the Bible. In here, they don't care who is they don't care about the book. They see who is the messenger or who is the prophet. That's number one. That's what started the relationship. I think Mr. Dr. Abdurrahman, Dr. Al-Naimi has said, people come on basis of trust. What makes us different in UAE, not only in Fujairah, that we look into the business. As you heard, we've been following from day one, and we're trying to accommodate. We're trying to see what suits next. Trying to see what business can be, trying to advantage of the gives, pluses and minuses of that we have between the two common. Today, Indians, as he mentioned, we have the highest number of population, so manpower, management, these can help to bring the business easier. Rely on businesses. For example, back in Fujairah, we have Wadanta Group with more than $1 billion of trade. This is one. We have solar manufacturing. We have a lot of manufacturing. But what is the difference maybe in UAE in general, Your Excellency? I think we have the main core of business, but then every emirate trying to develop its sectors. Back in Fujairah, we worked on the oil sector, which is by empowerment of the federal government. Today we are, even though without a single drop of oil, we maintain numbers 2 in the world next to Rotterdam and Singapore. So I think, Your Excellency, that you see what is not done, what is not available, and that's the niche of emirate responsible people, the authorities of emirates to look into it. Today our ambassador here been talking to us that what potentials are available. I think that's what's one, updating and legislating, 2, opening the freedom of doing business. We've been accommodating India for more than, as you said, ages. They've been good partners, a proximity. I think that's, and the common culture. In brief, I think we look what you need in a very simple way because we open the dialogue with each other. That's the right answer or the best, I think, that make it short. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Unfortunately, because of time constraints, we don't have time for Q&A, but whoever has any questions, you can direct them to us to the UAE Embassy, Commercial Attaché Office, the Trade Office, and the Embassy of the United Arab Emirates in New Delhi. Just Google it, you will find our address, you can give a call, and we will address your concerns easily. Thank you very much.
The future is extremely bright, and not just at the very, very senior level, at the political level or the company leadership, but for each and every one of you that's here in the audience. And I will try to do that in a way that you can see how the world, specifically related to GOA, is going to be much, much more exciting in the future. When we think of IT, we tend to think that it's too technical. It's not something that we can relate to. But that's not true, right? And I will show you what the difference is between what people assume is IT and in what reality of IT is all about. IT is the profession that will ensure that you have an Amazon-like system that helps farmers trade solar electricity as well as farm equipment. It will help eliminate middlemen, and hopefully as a result of that, poverty. IT is also the area that will produce farm robots that you can actually sometime in the future cost only about 7,000 rupees a month. And by the way, once you finish paying for that in a year, all of those farm workers are free, right? That's what IT does. IT is also the function where you can essentially have journalism be done by robots. And by the way, this is not just a dream. In reality, about 90% of the short updates in the US on sports and finance are actually written by robots today, right? Professions such as judging. In China and Latvia, you have AI, artificial intelligence robots, actually handle small claims courts. And let me share with you an example of how this can actually be extended even further.
I like to think of it as the world's first robot lawyer. Do not pay will have succeeded if the word lawyer is completely removed from the dictionary for average people.
Joshua Browder is trying to upend the legal services industry. His company, Do Not Pay, has built an AI-powered chatbot that interviews users about their legal problems in plain English, then uses their answers to complete and submit legal paperwork on their behalf. Do Not Pay doesn't charge for any of its legal help. This way the company can serve clients who can't afford to hire lawyers, such as refugees seeking asylum and homeless people applying for public housing in the UK.
So here's an example of a system that basically provides free legal advice to just common people. And this is all, again, possible. This is not just stuff that's going to happen in the future. Another example of professions that will completely change is medicine. Because imagine if you could use your smartphone to have diagnosis done on major diseases such as arterial fibrillation. And again, this is stuff that is very, very possible. Let me show you another example of how technology is disrupting medicine.
Schroeder creates nanoparticles, each marked by a unique barcode that carries a specific medication. These nanoparticles are then injected into the blood and enter the malignant tissue, penetrating through microfissures that do not exist in healthy tissue. The nanoparticles then discharge the drug within the tumor cells.
Now, the reason this is technology is because many of these nanorobots are actually programmed. They're no different than tiny little computers. And by the way, they have the ability to do surgery in which the actual robotics is injected into the blood vessels. And if you have to go and do a little bit of surgery to incise a part of the liver, they're able to coordinate with each other to actually go to that part of the liver to do the actual surgery and then get discharged with bodily waste. So these are just examples to kind of bring the possibilities of technologies to life. And all of this is known across the world because you can see the effect of all of this on Wall Street. 5 out of the biggest companies in the world today are tech companies. And basically what that means is that the financial markets are rewarding the most important developments in the world today. And by the way, that 5 out of 10 does not even include Amazon and Chinese retailer Alibaba, who are arguably technology companies. However, about 8 years ago, there was only one, Microsoft. So this shows you the incredible trend whereby the world is very quickly and rapidly changing around us. And it's changing in all aspects. If you're a business leader, you start to see supply chains dramatically changed. Because now you can have fashion retailers such as Zara go ahead and go from design of fashion all the way to actually having those clothes be sold on the shelf in only 2 weeks. And Zara is not alone, because there are organizations such as Uniqlo in Japan that actually do the whole cycle from design all the way through the store in 13 days, right? And by the way, supply chain is not the only area that's changing, because you have Chinese manufacturer Xiaomi that has the ability now to ship new batches of phones every week. And again, I'm not talking about new versions of software. You can get those. You can get hundreds of versions of those softwares every day, right? I'm talking about new batches. And what that means is that research and development cycles, which used to take, months or a year, have been compressed down into hours. And that's really what is happening to the world with some of these capabilities that you see.